You have twins on the way.
No, not twin, but two different women.
They're both your girlfriend?
They're like two sisters.
Right. Did you just say you have two sisters pregnant in the same family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. Mr. McKee, you up here lying. Are you serious?
On me too.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the other guy sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What? Are you serious?
I didn't know how to tell you.
Are you serious? A birth certificate and that could be my baby?
Yes.
This paternity case kicks off with wild claims. Mr. Fegan insists he's Ms. Pinkston's real dad, but kept it secret for 40 years, while Ms. Pinkston says, nope, my dad raised me. The judge declares DNA will settle it, and the drama is just getting started.
Mr. Fegan, you're here to prove that Ms. Pinkston is your biological daughter. You claim you kept this secret for 40 years, but now say the DNA will prove your case. Ms. Pinkston, you stand before me without any doubt that Mr. Fegan is not your biological father, and the man who raised you is.
Ms. Pinkston learns her dad isn't who she thought when her mom casually introduces Mr. Fegan as dad. This bombshell drops because her mom suspects she's dating a relative of his. Chaos follows, and things spiral fast.
I met Mr. Fegan here when I was 16 years old. I never knew of him, never heard nothing about him. And then all of a sudden one day, my mom decided to take me with her. Mom calls me to the dining room. She goes, I want you to meet somebody. They get to talking to me, Mr. Fegan, and my mom out says, hey, by the way, this is your father.
Who did you think your father was?
This is my father.
Turns out Mr. Fegan had an affair with Ms. Pinkston's married mom. They hid it to protect her marriage. And this secret brewed drama for decades. But wait, even more secrets are about to unfold.
5 or 6 months, maybe somewhere. I mean, she came to me before I left the job, told me that she was pregnant. She told me, we're gonna keep this a secret. Well, then we knew we had to be quiet because she was married.
And they knew it was wrong for what they did to my dad.
She did not want this secret to get out, and you agreed.
I agreed.
She was married.
Mr. Fegan didn't vanish, but posed as a family friend while secretly thinking, that's my daughter. Ms. Pinkston was clueless about his double life. The layers of deception just keep piling up.
And what were you posing as? A family friend?
That's what it was. The secret was still on.
And so you just come by the house, but
Well,
you were really coming by to see Miss Pinkston?
Well, I was hopefully that she was there and so I could see her. Over the years, just having something in your heart like that, you could not tell. It hurts you, like she said, it hurt
I've
her.
lived with this
It hurt me.
Ms. Pinkston reveals her birth certificate, naming Gus Pinkston as her dad. She's angry Mr. Fegan stayed silent, but also questions his intentions. Just when it seems settled, new revelations emerge.
Your father's name is listed as Gus Pinkston Jr.
Correct, that's my father.
We had her believe that too. She wanted to keep this a secret, her mom. But due to her wishes, being married, which is wrong, we did this, Your Honor, reluctantly. I did. I went through this. I mean, it hurts to this day.
Ms. Pinkston's sister steps in with emotional testimony, admitting she overheard whispers about Mr. Fegan being the dad. She wishes the secret had stayed buried, but her words bring a new twist to the saga.
I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, it's been this long. I love you, Tanya, but this is something I really didn't want part. If it was a secret, it should have stayed a secret. If you can hold it for 43 years, you should have just left it alone. Now there's family that didn't know. It just hurt.
The DNA results are in.
Mr. Fegan,
Yes.
you are not her
Oh
father.
my God.
Oh, Lord, no.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Talk about a dramatic start. Ms. Johnson claims Mr. Milford is her son Kiri's dad, but he says, nope, can't be me. I'm sterile, thanks to some military radiation. She's mad, saying he's done nothing for their son, not even visiting him at the hospital. The drama is already red hot and only gets wilder from here.
You claim the defendant, who has a child with your first cousin, is your son, Kiaris's biological father. Now, you say Mr. Milford's done nothing for Kiaris, and you've dragged him to court to prove he is the father. You don't believe Mr. Johnson is your son. Your claim is that you perform police actions with air defense artillery while in the Army.
Brace yourself. Things get messy over a baby bump being called a tumor. Ms. Johnson denies it, but Mr. Milford insists she said it wasn't a baby. He accuses her of seeing another guy, and she's like, yeah, but you were my main man. It's a whirlwind of chaos, and their son Kiris is about to step in and turn up the emotions.
So when you found out you were pregnant, he says you told him it was a tumor.
no, that never happened. I hadn't even been to the doctor, so how can I say it's a tumor?
She never gave me a sonogram. What she's saying just don't add up.
You get pregnant, do you say to him, and how did that
He kept
conversation
asking
go?
me, was I pregnant? But he said, I told him it was a tumor. But why are you asking me if I'm pregnant if you think I have a tumor?
Because I figure you lied.
Cue the tears. Kiri's shares his tough childhood, growing up without a dad. He talks about group homes, trouble, and feeling lost, saying he never asked for any of this mess. It's heartbreaking, but don't worry, because the DNA test results are coming, and the truth is going to shake everything up.
Were you told that this man was your father?
At one point I was, but then I was told he wasn't. I just don't feel I should be going through this. I wish I did have a daddy, because I probably wouldn't have been in much trouble as I was, and homeless at times, and getting taken away, and being in group homes. Maybe if he was around, maybe some of that stuff wouldn't happen to me. He didn't really try to be around, not that I seen.
Here's where it gets wild. Mr. Milford says he tried 3 times for a DNA test, but Ms. Johnson never showed up. She claims she didn't know, while he questions why she still asked for help. Oh, and he's still holding on to his sterile from Army radar story. Just wait. Ms. Johnson's cousin is about to bring more drama.
Look, my mother told me to get this straight before she died. So I went down to the DNA place. She didn't show up. The 3rd time she showed up and got to arguing with the DNA people. And
that never happened.
And they ran out the door.
When I lived in the county, I was in another relationship.
Ms. Johnson, you're saying that
it never happened.
It was
when I
a
lived
court
in
order
the
for
county, I
Richmond.
was in another relationship, and he was not my focus. My children were my focus.
Ms. Chavella Jones, Ms. Johnson's cousin, and another of Mr. Milford's baby mamas, drops a bomb. She doubts he's the dad and reveals Ms. Johnson's dating history. Ms. Johnson admits she just wanted love, but the judge is about to deliver some harsh, hilarious truths that leave everyone speechless.
I had a baby by him first. I dated him all the way through school. I don't understand how they even went there.
Because Ms. Johnson is
My first cousin.
is your first cousin.
Correct.
Do you believe he's Kiaris's father?
No. She was kind of like a roundaway girl.
You say she, you mean Ms. Johnson.
She had already had 2 kids, and then she had him.
The judge does not hold back. She calls out both parents for their messiness and reminds them that Kiri's has been stuck in this circus for 26 years. While they argue, he's the one suffering. The DNA results are next, and trust me, they're about to flip the script completely.
What I'm saying, none of this makes sense. It baffles me arguing back and forth between the two of you as to what happened and what didn't happen when this young man over here is not a piece of fiction. He's a person. The story is exhausting, and he's had to live through this for 26 years.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Milford, you are not his father.
Thank you.
This is one of those how did we get here moments, Moments. Mr. Portis and his mom want a DNA test because he's paying child support for a kid he's not sure is his. Meanwhile, Ms. Middlebrooks is confident the results will prove him wrong, and the drama is just heating up.
Mr. Portis, you and your mother have petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain you are not the father of the defendant's daughter, Ava.
Correct,
You
Your
say your life has been ruined and need today's paternity results to set the record straight.
It's like watching a blame game over spilled milk. Mr. Portis has been paying $75 a month because he missed court, and Ms. Middlebrooks didn't settle it either. Both act like victims, and the tension feels straight out of a soap opera.
This started about 2 years ago. I started paying child support, $75 for this baby, and I never knew if she was mine or not. We never took a DNA test. We tried to, but it didn't go through.
Don't you have to get a DNA before you can be put on child support?
We went together.
You didn't show up to court twice.
And that's because you had a court date.
And he missed. He
And you
missed the
missed-
court date.
So you were named
And
the
they
father by
established
default.
paternity. Yes.
Yep.
Things get awkward fast, like finding out your friends using your Netflix. Ms. Middlebrooks mentions another boyfriend and a letter about the baby, leaving the court in shock. This love triangle just keeps getting messier.
After the fact that she got pregnant, she had hit me up and was like, hey, I'm pregnant.
We were definitely together.
No,
I
we
called you after I got the text.
No, we weren't, because I found out that she had another boyfriend. Because I looked on her Facebook, I seen her with this dude, and I'm like, who is this?
How did you know that?
After she got pregnant, a letter she sent them.
Wait a minute.
I sent the guy a letter telling him that I was pregnant, letting him know what was going on.
By now, it's clear no one here makes great life choices. Ms. Middlebrooks told both her ex and Mr. Portis about the pregnancy, and Judge Lake is not impressed. She lays down the truth about parenting, and it's about to get wilder.
What was your relationship with this other guy?
We were dating.
When?
Before Brian Portis.
How soon after you and Mr. Portis started dating did you find out you were pregnant?
A month or 2 later.
I took her to the hospital. She found out she was like a month pregnant. The other guy that they talking about, a letter did go out to him, and she told him that she was pregnant and he's not the father.
This drama needs popcorn. Ms. Middlebrooks says her ex was at the birth, while Mr. Portis didn't show because he didn't believe the baby was his. Judge Lake calls out the chaos, but the family feud is far from over.
Who was with you at the birth?
My ex was. He stepped up.
Oh, wait.
But she
the
wasn't
ex
messing with
was
the
there?
ex, though.
Yes. When I had her, yes, he was there.
So he was away, and then by the time you had the baby, he was home.
Yeah.
But
your son wanted nothing to
He
do
was
with me
holding
or
her
the pregnancy.
and all that.
You do not know. You're not your son.
I
I'm
wasn't
not
in your
communicating with
business,
you.
but
I'm
I'm his
communicating with your
mom.
son.
I'm his mom, though.
You not being truthful.
The gloves come off as Ms. Middlebrook's aunt and Mr. Portis trade accusations. It's chaos with everyone yelling like kids over pizza. Just when it seems maxed out, the intensity cranks up even more.
When your niece found out she was pregnant, who did she tell you the father was?
The only person I knew was the ex.
No, I didn't
So-
ask that. That's not what I asked. Who did she say the father was?
She said the ex.
I already
But
knew
it's my
that.
son.
I said the ex.
But I thought it was my son all
No,
along.
hold on. I could tell by the way you were telling that story that you were trying to be evasive about something.
This part is both sad and funny. Judge Lake tells them to act like adults and focus on the baby. She warns Mr. Portis to get ready for the DNA test, which could change everything. The tension is off the charts.
I didn't know that I was going to be defaulted as the dad. If I didn't go, I was in training. I was in training. If I was to miss court, it was going to be this. But I was inexperienced with all this stuff that was going on at the time.
And this is exactly why I tell people you making babies, you got to understand
Correct.
the system. With all of this drama, there's still a very real possibility you're Ava's father.
Yes.
You may not be able to get yourself off child support.
The big reveal hits like a roller coaster.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Portis, you are the father.
Get ready for a roller coaster, because this case is about to go from weird to wilder. Judge Lake introduces Evans versus Snyder, where Mr. Evans swears he's not the dad of Mrs. Snyder's 2-month-old daughter, Lainey. Ms. Snyder, however, is determined to prove otherwise and make him take responsibility.
Mr. Evans, you claim your relationship with the defendant was just a week-long fling, and you are certain you are not the biological father of her 2-month-old daughter, Lainey. Once today's results prove what you already know, you want your last name back.
Their first meeting sounds like a chaotic rom-com gone wrong. Mr. Evans says he was drumming downtown when Miss Snyder gave him a flirty look, danced, and even flashed him, something she denies. Despite their arguments, both admit things got romantic fast, leading to their whirlwind relationship.
So I was downtown playing drums. And so she walks up to me and I see her, she's, looking at me and I'm just like, she's like, starts giving me those eyes and I'm like, okay, I know that look. And then she starts, dancing a little bit and then starts flashing her boobs. And
No one did.
Wait, what?
Yes, she did.
That's a lie. No.
And then she starts getting closer. Yes, she did.
The chaos peaks when Mr. Evans claims he, Ms. Guy Snyder, and his ex-girlfriend ended up in bed together one night. Ms. Snyder refused to sleep on the couch, climbed into bed, and drama erupted. Judge Lake's reaction:
I walk in, she's on my couch, she's in my chair, they're talking and whatnot, giggling and laughing and everything. We go to the bed and her and I are in my room. Miss Snyder comes in the room, she gets in the bed with us. Well, I'm talking to my ex at this point. Why aren't you out there with him? Because you brought him here. She's like, well, I'm not sleeping out there with him. I'm sleeping here with you and her. And I was just like, all right.
Priceless. Ms. Snyder drops the baby news while Mr. Evans is in Colorado. At first, he believes her, but when he meets Lainey, doubts creep in, prompting him to demand a DNA test. Mrs. Snyder insists he's the dad, but the suspense keeps building.
So I'm in Colorado at this point, working. She calls me in between July and August of 2018. I get a phone call from her. She told me that she was pregnant. It's like, okay, so, when do you find out when the baby's born and, what's the sex and everything? And so she told me it's possibly a girl and she's due sometime in January. So
December.
Ms. Snyder admits to sleeping with someone else, but insists it happened after conception and with protection. She even brings a calendar to prove Mr. Evans fits the timeline, but he's stuck on his belief the baby doesn't look like him.
And he sent in the following statement: I admit sleeping with Amanda, but I did use a condom. The condom did not break, so I know that baby is not mine. That you did have sex, but you did use protection. You don't think he's the father. He doesn't think he's the father.
Yes,
you also testified about your conception window.
The big reveal?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Evans, you are not the father.
Here's where it starts, and oh boy, what a mess. Robinson vs. Parker unfolds with Ms. Robinson claiming Mr. Parker is the father of her daughter, Tanila. He's doubtful and postponed their wedding over this drama. Awkward already? Just wait, his doubts have reasons.
Ms. Robinson, you're here desperately trying to save your relationship. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Parker, that he is the father of your 23-month-old daughter, Tanila.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Parker, you put your wedding on hold because you're positive you are not the father.
Ms. Robinson drops the bomb. She was seeing someone else when she got pregnant. This could mean Mr. Parker isn't the father. To make things worse, Mr. Parker recalls catching her with another guy at the park. Finger pointing begins, and it's about to get messier.
It have been a lot of lies. He didn't know around the time that I have pregnant that I was seeing someone else. That's where the possibility come from, that Tanila might not be his.
I do know. Yes, I do. You cheated on me. I sat there and saw you with another guy holding hands at a park.
She was 5
Why did you
months,
cheat?
and I came to you and I told you that she might be yours. You could have got the DNA test then, but you want to wait till almost 2 years.
Mr. Parker shares how he suspected something was off. He saw her at the park with another man and asked if she was pregnant. She denied it, but later showed up with a baby. You'd think this was the climax, but there's more drama.
I was walking in the park one day and I saw her holding hands and hugged up with some other guy. I saw that. I suspect that she might have been pregnant, so I did a little hand gesture. I was like, all right, are you pregnant? So she said no. So I left her alone. She came to my house. I asked her, I was so shocked at her. I was like, hey, how you doing? I seen a long time ago. And all of a sudden, it was a baby there. So I'm like, who's this baby of yours? And she was like, this is your child.
Ms. Robinson admits she kept her pregnancy secret out of fear and shame. She was in another relationship and didn't know how to break the news. Her next confession about who signed the birth certificate is jaw-dropping.
Did you contact Mr. Parker at all?
During my pregnancy, Your Honor, no, I have not.
Were you with anybody else during that time?
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
The one he saw you holding hands with?
Yes, Your Honor. When I confirmed my pregnancy, Your Honor, yes, I have told him, but I did not inform Mr. Parker that I was pregnant.
So you told the other guy you were pregnant, but you never told Mr. Parker?
At all.
Yes.
Ms. Robinson let another man sign Tanila's birth certificate because he was there, and she didn't want to deal with telling Mr. Parker. His reaction says it all. He's not okay with this. Then he shares his feelings about stepping up as a maybe dad.
Did the other guy sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
What? Are you serious?
I didn't know how to tell you.
Are you serious? A birth certificate?
Yes.
A birth certificate? And that could be my baby?
Yes. Because, Your Honor, at that time, he was there. Around that time, I had lost contact with Mr. Parker, and I didn't know how to come to him.
Despite doubts, Mr. Parker steps up for Tanila and loves her deeply. He talks about how she's become a big part of his life. It's touching, but trust issues linger. And then Ms. Robinson's sister enters with strong opinions.
My whole life changed. Your Honor, I was like...
Happy.
I was happy, you're right. I was excited, I felt like I was on heaven. That was everything in the world to me. I saw this little girl with mama in my ear telling me, oh, she looked just like you, when you was a baby and everything. It was just everything to me,
Ms. Robinson's sister shares her frustration over being kept in the dark, but still supports her. She highlights the importance of family, even in chaos. Then, Ms. Robinson's bizarre paternity math takes the stage, a laughable moment for everyone.
What do you know about this?
I talk to her a lot on the phone. I hear her crying a lot. I moved down here from Chicago to help her out. I keep the baby for weeks at a time. I provide financially for the baby. She wants to go to school. I must say, financially wise, it's been a lot of bickering. So I take the baby. I don't want my niece around that. I don't want, he's unsure, but I'm a little mad because there's a lot of things that I didn't know.
Ms. Robinson's diagram claims Mr. Parker is 80% likely to be the dad because they were together more. The judge and courtroom laugh, but the mood shifts quickly. The DNA results are finally revealed and no one is ready for them.
Ms. Robinson submitted a diagram to the court.
Yes, Your Honor.
That outlines what you believe is the ratio of certainty because you claim you were intimate with Mr. Parker 80% of the time, only intimate with the mystery man 20% of the time. And that's why you're convinced
that Mr. Parker is my
Mr.
baby
Parker
father.
is your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Parker, you are not Tanila's father.
Oh my God.
This story kicks off like a reality show you didn't know you needed. Ms. Thomas believed she was in a real relationship with Mr. McKee, but he denied her pregnancy and the relationship itself. The judge jumps into the drama, trying to untangle this wild mess that only gets crazier.
Ms. Thomas, you and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship with the defendant and was devastated when he denied your pregnancy.
Ms. Thomas thought it was love, driving 45 minutes to see him. But Mr. McKee wasn't serious and just liked her profile pic. He admits he was never committed, leaving Ms. Thomas in a relationship with herself. And trust me, the chaos is just getting started.
We met on a dating website. We started off talking, and then once we started knowing each other, who we were.
How long did you talk on the phone?
Maybe about a month or two. And then I started going to see him, maybe like a 45-minute drive from where I live, like every other day. So I'm assuming like I'm spending the night, staying the night with him, things like that. So I'm assuming, yeah.
You all obviously, since you spending the night, already started having sex.
Right.
When Ms. Thomas announced her pregnancy, Mr. McKee blocked her faster than you can say baby. He claimed disbelief, while Ms. Thomas kept the pregnancy a secret from her family. But wait until you hear his reaction to the baby's birth. It's jaw-dropping.
You find out you're pregnant. You call Mr. McKee and tell him?
Yes, ma'am. And he thought I was just joking, like playing, or just maybe just sick. So maybe like a couple weeks later, I said, let me take a pregnancy test. I took a picture of it and I sent it to him through text message. He was like, what is this? I was like, a pregnancy test. He said, I don't know how to read these, so tell me what that means. I say, I'm pregnant. He's like, oh, okay, so whatever you decide to do, just let me know.
When Carson was born, Mr. McKee dismissed the baby as not his and even compared him to Donald Trump. The judge wasn't having it and called him out, but then Mr. McKee dropped a shocking bombshell about having 2 more babies on the way with sisters.
So, Mr. McKee, she sent you a text with the picture of the baby. Your first response was what?
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
Really?
I didn't expect that one.
He thinks the color makes a difference.
I think what you're saying is you thought the baby was biracial? That's what you meant.
Things hit peak chaos as Mr. McKee reveals he's expecting kids with 2 sisters from the same family. The courtroom erupts and the judge preps for the DNA results while everyone wonders how it could get worse. Spoiler, it does.
You have twins on the way.
No, not twin, but 2 different women.
They're both your girlfriend?
They're like 2 sisters.
Right.
Did you just say you have 2 sisters pregnant in the same family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. Mr. McKee, you up here lying. Are you serious?
You want me too?
Yes, Your Honor.
The DNA test drops a twist.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?